Hey guys, DibtheAwesome here to give you another Monster Legends Guides, where we talk about monsters' moves, their rune sets, all that jazz. Today we're looking at Nexor. Nexor is the twin brother of Roxanne. Fun fact, I have a twin brother. If you never watched the Roxanne video, I do have a twin brother named Chase, and I'm Chase and Chance and all that jazz. Uh, this is I'm actually really surprised that they're releasing the next upcoming event relates to twins because my birthday is actually next or this like upcoming 13th November 13th is my birthday and stuff like that. And I'm actually really surprised. I'm actually really surprised they're doing twins for like an event or for like a progression event. I think that's really cool. Um, let's talk about this monster. Okay, just straight up the bat, this guy is not really broken in any way, shape, or form. Uh, he's actually in terms of overall, I think this is a thunder denier. Just that's what you need to know straight off the bat. He is a denier. He's very good. He'll probably be very good in countering things like oh, I don't know. I mean, like at least with the thunder monsters, he can counter some thunder attackers. Not all of them. Voltic is kind of immune to his stuff. He doesn't have to worry too much. Or maybe he does. I'd say he might have to. Uh, but yeah, I'll explain why in a bit. But all you need to know, this guy is a Thunder Denier, and he's not as broken as his brother at the moment. So yeah, he's Thunder, he's hardened. His power is 3,267. Not too high of a power, but again, he's a Denier, so he's not really going to be focused too much on damage output. His life is 27,445. It's a pretty meh life, kind of meh. I mean, it's like not bad, but it's not good either. Uh, in terms of tanking stuff, it's all right, but it's just not too much of. It's kind of like Heyman health. It's not too high in the least. It's a meh life. The only thing that Nixor doesn't have compared to Heyman, he doesn't have life steal. Uh, but I think they actually run on the same speed. I think they actually do run on the same speed. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, maybe they don't. Let's check that real quick. I'm actually curious. I make this video as like immediately after the Roxanne video. Hey man, let's see that. I know like some of you are thinking, oh, Dib, why are you comparing him to Heyman? But no, it's just a it's a thought. Oh, Heyman's actually faster. Heyman's actually faster. It's funny. It's pretty fast. All right, so that's funny. All right, so his ultimate, transmission tower fall deals massive special damage to all enemies, may slow all targets. I don't know if the slow is gonna be a thing, but I think shocked might be a thing. I mean, like it says like shocked and stuff like that. I wonder if it's actually a combination of all three. That would be actually really devastating if all three actually land. Uh, and if shocked is applied first, wouldn't you think like the slow would be applied too? If things always hit, if you gotta think in mind, if things are always like hit and stuff like that, then can you land your slows? I'm kind of interested. I'm really interested in that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of interested to see how that all plays out. But we kind of have to wait to see. I would actually wonder if you actually paired this thing up with if you used Mr. Flanky or Shakati with his speed boost. I actually wonder how this actually plays out. Um, so yeah, we're gonna skip all of group one. We're gonna talk about skill groups two. Dazing spear. This is a 0 turn cooldown, 31 damage, 55 damage. This is his single target daze skill. You may or may not want to run the skill. Just kind of want to go over all the other skills first before I recommend you anything. So Fatal Shockwave deals heavy thunder damage, may apply shock to target. This is a good way to spread his shock. Since it's like 0 turn cooldown, you can like spread it. If you don't hit anybody with the AOE, you can hit them with this, and it just gets them shocked again. It's basically like troll or like not troll. I forgot what the originality of it was, but yeah, it's like ROFL, it's Falcon Punch and stuff like that. It's kind of like that. I don't know how useful that really. It might actually be really useful. Because I imagine seeing a lot of shields nowadays with like Gretchen walking around or like uh, things with shields and stuff like that, like a tomb. This might be a good thing to carry on when you actually do fight a tomb. It might get rid of the shield too, so that's a bonus. Deals low special damage to all enemies. May stun all targets. Requires cooldown. Run this move. It is main deny skill. Jolt Spear. This does moderate special damage and applies 100% damage reduction to target. Requires cooldown. I'm not. I mean, like, obviously, like, taking 0 damage is great, but in some cases, like, depending on who the attacker is, like, if it has, like, an AoE stun, it does protect you from the damage, but keep in mind, you're stunned, so you're going to go through a turn anyway, and it's going to be the attacker's turn again. It depends on that also depends on your setup, too, if you are immune to, like, stun and stuff like that. If your whole team is, then you don't have to worry about it. Or like if it was like a freezer and your whole team's immune to freeze, then that's also great. This is a pretty meh. Or it's situational. It can be really great, but it also can be kind of meh. Stunning shockwaves deal low thunder damage to all enemies. May apply damage reduction to all targets. Requires cooldown. This is 25%. I don't think people see this as a really good ability. It might be a good ability in the case of the scenario you're fighting like Incognita with the AoE buffs. Dazzling shockwaves deals low special damage to all enemies, may daze all targets. This requires cooldown. I'm not too sure you have to run this move, just because there's a lot of honestly there's a lot of monsters that people use that apply daze to begin with, like Will Razorface. I'd list more, but at the moment I think that's the only one that does. That's the most common one that does dazing. Well, I guess like general Invarv. I'm sure there's more. That does daze. I think there is. I just can't list them on my head right now. Maybe if I like. Yeah. I can't list them all right now, but I'm pretty sure this is a common thing. Not many people really worry about being dazed. If you combine this with like. Like if you do poison and stuff like that, poison, bleeding, this actually stacks up pretty well. But I think honestly, there are attackers that do this. You may or may not want to run it. Being the fact it is a 35 stamina move. So here are the moves I actually recommend at the moment. It might change on the course of this video, but I do recommend you run Pulsing Shockwave. I do recommend you run. Probably, like maybe if you miss your shocked, you might want to get this move, fatal shockwave. You might want to run that. You have to. I know you have to run at least. You probably want to run Dazing Spear. Run Dazing Spear. It's your spammable move. You totally want to run this. So I say all skill groups too. Honestly, I think the last decision is like maybe like the damage reduction or the AoE damage reduction. It depends on what your floats your boat. People might actually just go with the 100% damage reduction. It just probably might be a better idea. Odds are, it might very well be. Or you can do the AoE shockwave. You can actually just maybe like, not do the fatal shockwave. You can just go straight up to, like AoE shockwave. Now to kind of think of it though, he doesn't really have he doesn't have an AoE that spreads this. It's the only move that does do this. So maybe you do want to, you have to run this move at this point then. So like all skill groups too, and you totally want to do Jolt Spear. I think that's probably what most people are gonna do at that point. Is just run Jolt Spear. Is this gonna be a thing? I think. I don't know if people are gonna run the Dazing Shockwave. They might, but they probably won't either. So yeah, they'll go for Jolt Spear if anything. Or what people do, they'll probably run these two moves, Paralyzing Shockwave, Fatal Shockwave, and they might actually do Jolt Spear and Dazing Shockwave. In all honesty, because maybe they might want to prioritize on all, just like straight up like deny, or just straight up like focus on one thing. For partners, I'd actually pair them up with Mercurius. That's actually a really good idea. I recommend that greatly. What you can do is you can do the AoE shockwave. You deny on the first turn, and then you set up for. You set up with Mercurius's AoE blind. You can also do this with Tempest too. Like Tempest and Mercurius, I'd say his top 10 partners would be those two. For like just the all around, like the blinding and stuff like that. Or maybe you want to use a different monster, maybe like General Invarv instead, just so you don't get like double like Earth elemental damage. That's never a good thing. Earth elemental, I mean, like if you get two thunder monsters walking around, it might not be a pretty sight, because a lot of people use like Brontes and stuff like these, or Brontes, or however you pronounce that three-eyed giant. But yeah, people use that a lot, so maybe you might not want to do that. I guess that's another one of his problems too, is he can't control like Varuna. He can't control things that are immune to stun. So I can imagine Varuna being a problem for him, even though he does have thunder moves. He's not building any damage, so that's also a problem. So he can't burst down. He might be able to burst down Varuna in time, but he's not going to burst him down right away. I'm not really too. I mean, like with like AOE stun, there's a lot. There's more often. I think there's more monsters immune to stun than there are immune to freeze, which is kind of a tough like thing to think around. But being immune to stun is pretty common. I don't know. I'm not too sure on how well he does with denying, but I'm sure in Timor's he's actually really good in denying. In certain situations, you just gotta hope that none of the enemy monsters are immune to stun. And that's really all there is to it with this guy. I recommend full speed runes, or you can actually do like the extra guy build if you want to. He does have like good single damage output. Or maybe you can do like 2 speeds and a life, or just to make him stay out there longer, to control longer, and all that jazz. It might not be a bad idea. You can use him as a secondary stunner. It's totally up to you. I like this guy's design, honestly. I really like his design. I might use this guy. He's pretty good in design. I like his design. In terms of the two, I like this guy's design more than Roxanne's. But again, design's not really the matter. It's more so what does this guy actually do. I honestly think this guy. In all honesty, I think this guy can keep his brother off ya, or just keep the damage off. And like if you were to like, all right, so here's the situation. Like if you're fighting a Roxanne and you have a Nexor and he's going first and stuff like that, you could totally what you could do. Totally do you can do like the paralyze him the first turn, or like stuff like that. And then you can use Jolt Spear, or you can do the Jolt Spear first. You can stun him, and then you can actually combo that again with Jolt Spear. Because that's a cooldown again. You can totally do that. I think you can get away with some pretty. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think you can do that. I think you can actually. This is great for like getting rid of keeping the attacker from damaging you ever. Is you do paralyzing shockwave, and then you go straight to Jolt Spear. I mean, you go to Jolt Spear, then shockwave. Like Jolt Spear again, then shock. Well, you can't do shockwave again, but you can do it. Like you can repeat it at least once. Jolt Spear, paralyzing shockwave, and then Jolt Spear again. But then you have to wait for all your stuff to be on cooldown again. That's the only problem, really. But yeah, this guy's I think this guy's a pretty okay monster. People are gonna be excited for this monster too. And yeah, that's all I really need to say about Nexor. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm DibtheAwesome. I'll catch you guys later.